Evening, everybody. It is 6:23. We've had another look at the budget. Look, the number one story is the research stuff, and you're definitely in a glass half empty, glass half full kind of situation here. Like I said, they're promising $1 billion over 5 years. Only 220 some million of that is going to be available before the next election. That is in either the 24-25 or 25-26 fiscal. If you take, so that's 12%. Okay. Only 12% of the full 101.8 billion is going to be available in the next 2 years. When you take that into consideration, along with the cut of $110 million to CFI that was announced a couple of weeks ago, what you find is that actually in 25-26, in real dollars, the total amount of money spent through the tri-councils and CFI would be 10% less than it was before the Naylor report. So we've lost everything, that big chunk of money that was supposed to come in 2018. We lost it all. We knew we lost it all because of inflation last year. But the money for the next 2 years is not even keeping up with inflation. So, and it's really hard to imagine that a new conservative government, which claims to be fiscally responsive, is going to keep that money. So is this a good budget? Is it a bad budget? It really kind of depends on how you think years 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to go. There is some money that we didn't talk about last time. There's a lot of money going to a couple of institutions. UBC is getting $400 million to renovate the particle accelerator with Triumph, I think it's called. The University of Saskatchewan, $85 million for the light source. So this is all big. This is good. There's good numbers there. What we're seeing on graduate scholarships, basically what they've done is they've sort of said, they have all these different awards and the different sizes and blah, blah, blah. And they're just sort of saying, you know what, if you're getting an award for a master's student, you're getting $25,000 a year. If it's your doctoral student, it's $40,000 a year. If you're a postdoc, it's $70,000 a year. That's good. And they are adding numbers of scholarships. I think it's another 1,700 scholarships in total across all three levels. That's good. But you got to remember that most graduate students don't get their awards from the federal government. They get them from the institutions. And so now what's going to happen is institutions, out of the research dollars they get from the tri-councils, they're going to have to pay their own students more. And guess what? Those tri-council budgets, like I just said, are actually not increasing in size for the next 2 years. So we've put this upward pressure up on graduate scholarships and not actually put money behind it. So I think institutions are going to be on the hook to fund those themselves. Be careful what you wish for, institutions. Sometimes if you ask the federal government for something, they will turn around and do things that are going to make you spend money too. So anyway, on student aid, one of the really interesting things is the housing allowances. They are increasing the amount of money that students can borrow. So in the allowance calculations, there's one thing there so student loans, you'll be able to borrow more, provided you're not already at the maximum, in order to cover rent. The good news is in the short term, that means students have more money for rent. In the longer term, it means they have more debt. So again, glass half empty, glass half full. The other thing, again, we're trying to get some numbers on this, but the funding for the PSSSP, the post-secondary student program, which funds First Nation students, the increase there looks like it's between 20 and 25%. We're just trying to nail that one down, but that's a significant increase for that particular budget. Doesn't cover all the need by any means. I don't get the impression that AFN is super happy about it. But there you go. It's still pretty significant. Overall, just judging by Twitter, I think the institutions, by and large, research institutions have decided to say thank you. They've decided not to get obstreperous about a back-end loaded $1.8 billion increase. I'm not sure I blame them. That's the way politics gets played. But that's it. I mean, I would say this is a very 50-50 kind of budget. Some of it's going to be real. Some of it's not. Some of it has hidden costs. Give the government credit for putting money in, but this is not smooth sailing for institutions by any means. See you again in 2 hours.